Hey there, my name's Niandra. Welcome to Mercy Commentary VODs, where I record myself playing competitive, then talk about my plays and mistakes. This is Oasis at around 4050 SR, it's a win, and these are my final stats. So I start all of my King of the Hill VODs the same way. Whichever ally is ahead of everyone else, I follow a damage boost to get ult charge generation started early. Sometimes it's Doomfist, maybe Genji, but this time it's Hanzo. I'm gonna follow him off to the left side high ground, and I felt like I left him way too early. Main healer playing with a single ally over the rest can be risky, but a lot of my allies have self-heal or self-sustain, and we have an Orisa shield to play behind. I have a few opportunities here to super jump up to our Hanzo, and I did want to get a view of the high ground. I think I was hesitant to GA through point while enemy Hog was on it. You can see his hook just missed me at one point, but still, probably should have gone for it.
What?
Let's get you back out there.
From the sound we just heard and this particle effect, I know enemy Genji has used his dash. With Lucio nearby to peel, the enemy team playing pushed back, and none of my allies critical, I felt confident in going for this res. I want to give Hanzo more attention this time, and I keep flicking my camera view between him and the tanks. Still probably should have super jumped up there, because high ground is generally safer than playing directly on a Koth objective. I get hit by Brig's flail shot and I can briefly see her, so I run away with my pistol out in case she decides to chase me, because a single landed shot would give me ult charge for Valk, and then I could just fly away with health regen.
No more.
I want to res Hog, but I waited for Sombra to be forced to teleport away first, you know, just to be safe. I have time left on Valkyrie, so let's push up with damage boost. I know Lucio was slightly damaged, but I kept my beam on Hanzo because Lucio has self-heal, and confirming a kill on that Sombra would be a huge stagger. Plus it would mean repositioning the Lucio from here, which felt a bit dangerous. I tell my team over voice chat that they're going to use Genji ult when they push in, and I damage boost our Lucio a little bit for sound barrier, but I don't fully commit. Instead, I flick my damage boost onto multiple people randomly with no real target in mind. I call it out again, still not giving Lucio any more damage boost, and I've not looked at the scoreboard once in the time between these callouts. Enemy Genji uses Dragon Blade, and only now do I look at the scoreboard. Lucio died with 99% ult charge. Yeah, if I had given him just a little bit more boost, he could have ulted and maybe we would have won the fight. The biggest mistake here was me not looking at the scoreboard for a good 8 seconds while saying they were going to Genji ult. If I had pressed tab once, I would have known Lucio's ult status and would have fully committed to damage boosting him rather than random. I'm gonna use Valkyrie here because both of my tanks are badly hurt and I hear enemy Orisa use ult. Since we have 2 picks and a Orisa shield of our own, we were probably fine without it, and this ult feels pretty wasted. As I've said, when a fight is won, you should damage boost during Valk, then heal when it's over for ult charge, but with our Hog, I had like 10 seconds left of Valkyrie, so I didn't want to leave him hanging for that long. I damage boost our injured Hog as he solo ults the Sombra because she's down there somewhere with high damage drop off, and I'm seeing hit markers. I then heal when the hit markers stop, flick the damage boost when they appear again, and try to balance between the two.
How do you know?
I'm gonna go res our Lucio, and I do say over voice chat, resing real quick, be careful, but I call it out once the res is almost over. If my allies had to adapt their playstyle while I resed, this wouldn't really give them enough time to do it, you know, compared to saying it as I went in the tunnel.
Apagando las luces.
Nice.
Score 1-0.
Great start to the match, and as I said, we do lose this round, but no one plays terribly. We just staggered near the end, which is the biggest killer in King of the Hill.
Me and Orisa are slightly behind.
You needed a goddess.
Pretty minor, but Hanzo gets anti-heal to my right and I don't notice him. Once Guardian Angel is off cooldown, I fly to our Hog and then notice Hanzo needs healing, but I have to wait another 2 seconds for GA to be ready again. He grabbed a health kit, but if we were against a heavy mobile dive comp, my misplay could have been punished if they focused him during my Guardian Angel downtime.
Maybe D-Run?
Thanks to directional audio and noise from the blinks, I'm able to efficiently call out a tracer flank. And here, I intentionally stood in front of our critical Hanzo to body block some damage from the Sombra that I knew was just somewhere behind me.
It's not your time.
My teammates call out enemy Lucio skating around the backline, and they look for him as friendly Orisa pushes up alone. I make sure to flick my camera view fast between them and let Orisa know she's alone. When you've got enemies in front of you, you may not be able to turn around and check if allies are nearby, so calling it out for her can be useful.
Healing stream engaged.
Summer hack.
Damage stream engaged. Now I'm here.
I'm about to get hacked and I assume enemies are gonna chase me. To my right is our Hanzo who's being attacked, but I keep my camera focused on the opening in front of me. I wasn't out healing a nanoed Winston, so I don't think my decision mattered too much in this situation, but for future reference, could have flipped my camera view more and remember that walking backwards has a tiny speed penalty, which might have mattered against an attacker with lower DPS.
The wonders of modern medicine. Where is it all?
My team has a pick and Hog's anti-healed, so he's not going to miss out on my healing if I res now, so let's go for it and get my beam on him afterwards. I mentioned Pharah ult, but I could have added that she was to our right or just a general location call out as well. I activate Valkyrie because we're even and 2 allies are badly injured, but everyone's playing spread across the point, so I don't get much from it. I then get hacked, so I'm slow at moving to allies that are doing damage. Not the best Valk, but hey, we win the fight anyway.
I heard Sombra ult.
Our Lucio accidentally wasted beat because he heard Sombra ult, which sucks, but the enemy team isn't running any super scary team wiping ults, so hopefully this mistake won't cost us too much. With this death, you can see allies behind me and I wasn't hacked, so they could have been valid fly paths. I knew Orisa was hacked, but you have a tiny speed penalty for walking backwards, so I was afraid to turn around. I thought I could make it to the corner, or maybe hack would wear off and we get a shield in time. Obviously, we've lost the fight, but we still have ownership of the objective, so I follow Lucio to try and stall. He's not the easiest to keep up with, especially with enemy Sombra, but hey, we got a few more ticks. I could have maybe super jumped on Hanzo to high ground when I arrived, and then dropped down when needed to contest, and that might have got us a few more ticks.
A clean bill of health. You should be at peak performance levels. Healing stream engaged.
Hearing 2 enemy ults and immediately going for a res before you can grasp their impact is pretty dumb. I kept my view on the corpse and only looked at my other teammates once I was locked into the animation, where I would be unable to help if they needed it. So yeah, I basically resed for us to fall back, and this is pretty bad when the enemies are 80%, which is 2 fights at best. Now, if the enemy were to push and try to stagger our final fight, I won't be able to res it.
Stop dying, stop staggering.
2 allies are dead, 3 are injured, and this is our last fight. Not looking good. I need a Valk early for multi-target healing so we can maybe attempt to push. My ally's gonna say I need to be the one to touch.
Mercy, you need to touch.
Right as I use Guardian Angel away from point. With no fly path, I'm not able to make it, plus I was probably going to die when I got on it anyway because at least 3 allies were dead. Still, my bad if it were actually winnable if we contested.
Score.
So yeah, unlucky second round. I felt a little nervous because I knew they'd be running Pharmacy again, and at any rank it can be tough to deal with if the Mercy is especially aggressive with her damage boost. I also mentioned the enemy is running Ana Mercy, which means they'll have no defensive ult. If we do struggle against Pharmacy, maybe we can try and win through offensive ult usage instead. Not the best start to a round. I could have flown to allies, jumped to bunny hop and res from here. Shields are great protection, but sometimes terrain can be better. So yeah, should have played this slower, and that would have meant more health regen when I actually did res.
You needed a goddess?
My positioning is slippery and I'm making good use of the airspace. Until here, where I find myself stranded in a ball of enemies. I must have either cancelled GA by mistake or not pressed jump at the end of it, because I definitely could have gone further. As I've said, asking teammates to peek spawn so you can get back quicker is a great move, but here, I felt like we couldn't risk taking another ally out of the fight.
Helden sterben nicht.
Nice pick. On my way. Listen, I know Friendly Diva just got demacked right in front of my face, but I wanted to see if I could go res Orisa instead. Both teams have picks, and her being our main shield tank, Orisa is super valuable to bring back. I felt like she would offer a lot more than a baby diva off to the side. Funnily enough, enemy diva stopped attacking our baby to interrupt my res, and she lived anyway.
Let's up the tempo. Let's get you real live.
Damage boost engaged. Right down.
I'm going to use Valkyrie to initiate the fight, and I think I did it way too early here. Like, I probably should have waited till we were actually on point. I wanted to call out this pharmacy pair earlier than I did, but I wasn't sure how to say it because, like, my left here was different to my ally's left, you know? I guess pharmacy above tower might have been good enough.
Come on, go kill the fucking Mercy.
The enemy team is at 99%, so we want to cap while using the least amount of ultimates we can, and that includes Valkyrie. Since they only need to win a single fight, which could be achieved by good ult usage, it's super important to have our own ready, especially if they have defensive capabilities. Peeking this corridor at all when we have so little breathing room was pretty dumb of me. Like, I'm main healer and a single death in this situation could just mean a loss.
Like, I'm asleep here. Can I get, like, body blocking? Thank you.
You should be at peak performance level. Mercy in the right. Heroes never die.
I don't know where Bear is.
One thing I used to always forget and have been trying to use a lot lately is if you press crouch while in Valkyrie, you will swiftly descend. It's actually got a lot of good uses, either for getting to allies or when you're trying to be a harder target to hit.
Let's get you healed up.
Damage boost engaged.
No. We're resing, careful.
The battle continues.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Our McCree activates High Noon, so let's body block that as well. This was a little dangerous since I flew to McCree with my camera view faced away from enemies, but I did have some sound barrier shields left.
Okay.
Stop res.
Healing stream engaged.
The top again.
Let's not expose myself to that corridor, and instead I use super jump to meet our McCree who was repositioned up top.
You needed a goddess?
They're top left.
I use Valkyrie for more control over positioning. I fly to our McCree corpse and get hit by a rocket, which is just a big wake-up call. I remember telling myself, if you go for that res instead of healing the multiple allies who need it, you will 100% throw this.
Keep me alive, keep me alive.
Our mace says keep me alive, and since I'm so focused on the fight, I don't know who is saying this. There's a couple of instances where she does this, and to non-Mercy players watching, saying which character you are when asking for help can go a long way. And to Mercy players, reminding your teammates to do this in game can be useful too. And there we go, really close match and a super fun one to play. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out my Patreon where I post most of my videos early, and have a nice day.